We are live. What's up, killers? I was just messing about with Rob. I don't know if he wants me to say his last name, so I'll just leave it Rob. I almost said it though, and he'll be back. He's got some tech stuff. Let's see. I figured we'd start off the most important thing right now in this batshit crazy crypto market, and I might do this again when Rob comes back on. Is doing this PSA that Joey and I talked about last time. So I know there's a lot of interest in crypto and in DePIN right now, whether that's Helium Mobile or Helium IoT or GeoNet or whatever your kind of flavor of amazing tokens that you think are going to make you super rich are. And that's fine. That's like part of the fun of DePIN is you get to do something in the real world and you get you earn tokens for it. But a couple pretty important things before we kick it. And I'm making, let me know if someone in the comments if you can hear me. What's up, Kevin? I'm running this mic that I haven't used in a long time, and it's a great mic, but I may have set it up wrong. What's up, Daniel? Okay, so number one, never share your seed phrase. Put it on paper or metal, however you want to do it. Piece of paper hidden somewhere, wherever the fuck you want to bury it in the ground. I don't care, but just don't put it in a place where it's going to get found or stolen, and ideally put it in a place where if your house burns down or whatever, you can recover it. Once your seed phrase is gone, it's gone. If someone else controls it, oh, thanks for the feedback. Someone else controls it, you are, I think we're past the first minute, but it doesn't matter. You're fucked. Okay. I would say get a hardware wallet. You know, we talked about that last time. What's up, Hector? I think if you think of hardware wallets as just hardware in general, it doesn't matter if it's a Tracer or a Ledger or whatever the fanciest, latest, most rad thing is. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, a piece of metal that you stamp your seed phrase out on. I think as long as you have some kind of hardware wallet, that's a useful thing. Although I think I've got one of the wallets I've got, I forget if it's a Tracer or a Ledger, like the software is going bad, and it just makes me nervous because there's a couple coins on there I would prefer not to lose. So what's up, Fred? Yeah, never put your seed phrase anywhere on the internet. Admins on any of these platforms, Telegram, Discord, Twitter, whatever it is, they will never DM you. At least they'll never DM you first to assist. So that's a super common mistake. Ways that people have lost a lot of money. The scammers will come in and say like, oh, hey, you know, if you, whatever, you're on the Gristleking server, you're on the Helium server, whatever it is, you'll see something that might look like it's coming from me. And if we've never had a conversation before, it's probably a fucking scammer. If it is from me, there's a way that I write that's reasonably identifiable, but be super, super suspicious of anyone who reaches out to you talking about seed phrase. So, and don't ever enter it into anything. Do not fall for the, like, hey, the software is down. We're bridging over from, you know, they throw in a bunch of buzzwords there. Yeah, just enter your seed phrase to port your wallet over. What you're doing is you're porting all of your money to them. So do not do that. Do not screenshot your seed phrase. So that's a common thing is I know it's 12 or 24 words or whatever the thing that it'll be in the future, 36 words, 792 words, whatever the fuck it is. Do not screenshot it. Now here comes Rob. Once it's on your phone, people can see it. And let me put Rob the Legend up. There we go. Can we hear you now?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah. What's up, dog? We're just going through the PSA that I'm going to start running before all these shows. We're almost finished with it. So never screenshot your seed phrase and don't give your seed phrase to anyone. So unless it's, you know, someone you trust. Even for me, what I've done with my seed phrase stuff is I've hidden it in a place where my wife knows where it is. And I said to her, like, hey, if I get hit by a bus or killed, go grab this shit. You don't need to know anything about it. Go find these couple friends and they'll walk you through how to access the the $1,000 total that's in that shit. So just have a really good plan. The last two things are be super careful not to rush. I know what it can be like late at night when you think you're the only one in the world that's seeing a super good deal. Just take a fucking breath, count to 10, whatever it is. Usually if you come back in the morning, you won't miss anything. And I'll give you a recent example. I just sold some IoT the other day. If I waited till the morning, I would have sold it for whatever, 12% higher. Now it's not a guarantee, but just don't fucking rush. And the last piece is be super careful of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. That can make you do really dumb things. So a great example of that is you just saw mobile pump. I think if you bought mobile right now, you are probably in a super high risk position. Now, it doesn't mean you can't make $1 billion, but it also means you could lose everything you have. And maybe that's the last thing is like in crypto, don't put anything in there that you are not totally willing and incapable of losing without a tear shed. So, Rob, anything to add? I know you love crypto. It's your favorite thing.
Yeah, I hate crypto. Crypto skeptic, right? So basically, that's a really interesting point about the release of keys and secrets and passphrases and everything. Like if you suddenly die or something,
Yeah.
we need like a blockchain where you can give it to like your life insurance
Yeah.
or whatever. They pay out, it gives that shit to the beneficiary as well. That'd be awesome. But I have a password safe file on a USB stick with all of my stuff. Well, it's on a few USB sticks. They like to fail. And my wife knows the passphrase to get into that password safe file. She's not a geek, so she's probably not going to work it out. But all the
Yeah.
stuff's
Yeah.
in there.
So as long as they know like who to talk to in your friend or peer circle, I think you're fine. But I think a lot of this stuff is just like do some preparation and let's make one assumption that could be totally wrong is that we are entering into a bull market. Once this thing gets going, like the amount of energy and FOMO and crazy fucking decisions that people will make is going to be off the charts. So if you can do some prep work now, whatever that is, to be prepared for what's coming down the pipe, that's going to be a lot better for you. Rob, dude, I don't think you've been on the show before. You and I have talked a bunch.
A long time ago, I think me and Neil come and said hi, but
Oh, did you and me?
it's been
Okay, so you've been on at least once. For folks who don't know who the legend is, tell us, you want to talk a little bit about TrackPack? You want to keep that secret?
no, we want to come and shill everything on here. So basically, I think most of the community know who I am. The ones that are here in the not so distant past maybe don't know who I am because I've been banned for a long time.
Yeah, you get
But
kicked
yeah,
off servers regularly. Yeah.
so yeah, we I work a lot with BFG Neil, and we've had a few like little ventures based around helium together. One was helium status, which died when the blockchain was switched off. And then we've been building TrackPack. We're trying to get usage up on the network. Initially, we started with tracking, but now we'll literally do anything, providing you can give us a few pounds or dollars.
Yep.
If it's IoT, we're game for it. I'm totally crypto skeptic, to be honest. If the price is good, I short sell. If the price is bad, I hold it till the price is good. But I don't tend to to dabble with crypto much. I think
Yeah.
crypto is very interesting. We have a couple of projects in mind where maybe crypto can help us out. One of the big challenges we're having at TrackPack at the moment is that Google really love taking our money for looking up Wi-Fi BSID locations. So we're thinking if we can get a community map kind of similar to Wiggle, where we can look up Wi-Fi location data much cheaper, that would be a great project. I don't know whether we have enough DePIN experience within TrackPack to do it. So maybe like a community project to do that would be cool. For complete transparency, there's like $0 funding from TrackPack right now because
Yeah.
we're kind of in tough where we're trying to get the business to fly. And we kind of spent a load of money on development of the existing product. So we're kind of have zero budget, but I think we can build a good tokenomics model and do something cool with that. And
That'd be super
maybe
cool.
with Nick team we could work something out.
Yeah. Dig it. Well, always excited to hear about new projects. Joey, good to see you, dog. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, I love this idea of a deep in project for war driving. That I could get into that. It'd be fun. But yeah, sorry to pop in a little on the late side. Rainy weather really slows things down, but happy to
Yeah.
be here.
Shit, yeah. Are you like where are you, Joey? Or is that top secret? Undisclosed location. Deep in the heart of Czechoslovakia.
Somebody's gonna geofinder me based on the windows outside or something.
Yeah, I figured. Okay,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just looked cool.
Yep.
Super cool. So let's see. We've got a boatload of news to go through. Is there anything off the top, Joey, that you wanted to hit with helium stuff? Any kind of updates on the foundation side?
Trying to sort of rack my brain here. There's kind of a bunch of in progress stuff. Like we've been pulling together an API, getting some feedback on that for folks that this actually kind of ties into stuff that Rob does, like get hotspot locations a little more easily without having Helios account querying Solana direct, like all the crazy stuff there. So trying to make things a little more accessible, a little easier to get into. Got a ton of notes to go clean up documentation. We've been doing an internal project basically gone through the LNS process, which has been really insightful.
Okay.
And so getting a little more, stuff cleaned up, make it easier. I've seen a proposal for bringing down the dev adder price, so as a means to help people get in and set up an LNS. It's bad for you, good for everyone else.
Yeah.
So there's some cool stuff going on. I shipped a HIP last week. This is around that educational LNS thing.
Yep.
Actually, I think that went live earlier this week.
Okay. Cool.
And so we'll do a little bit of discussion. I've got a hold on my calendar to do an AMA at 6 p.m. Pacific, which I think I need to get fired off on Discord. Rob, or sorry, not Rob, Leo, sorry, looking at you up there. Leo from Australia sort of threw the idea out there of doing an AMA just because it's like, he's like, yeah, the HIP looks great, but maybe a little discussion opens up some details or, helps people sort of hammer on the idea. So
cool.
I'll get behind that.
Rob, I saw you want to jump in there. What's up, dog? There's a lot of meat on that bone.
I fundamentally disagree with dev address slabs, but that's just me. Go be a real LoRa person and go get a net ID. That's my opinion on it anyway. Especially a Type 7 net ID is kind of small. They're cheap enough.
And that's what you guys did, right?
ID?
Okay.
The freedom with having the roaming and capability to exclusively have a block of dev addresses which are yours and you can use on any network is a huge plus in my opinion. Versus renting a slab from.
And it's probably also just kind of what your use case is, right? Like you guys are pretty fucking savvy. Rob, you've helped me a ton on, I'll just call general internet geekery stuff, whether that's routing or LoRa or whatever. Like what you're doing. For me, it's just like, it's way easier to let Helium run a ton of that shit and let Paul run a ton of that stuff on the back end and provide a service to folks. Maybe it's not as efficient. Maybe I don't make as much money. But I think it's just kind of horses for courses. That's what the British say, right? Horses for courses.
Maybe. I think it's more about flexibility, right? There's no additional complexity of having a net ID other than acquiring it in the first place because the LoRa alliance are kind of slow.
Yeah.
But after that point, you still have no UI. You're still pointing a block of dev addresses to your LNS. It's just they're yours, and you can go and use them wherever you want.
Yeah.
I don't know how the cost compares. Maybe it's a lot cheaper to get to rent it in the Helium net ID.
I don't know. Joey, have you paid attention to this? You must have.
Well, I guess the distinction is it's not. I guess you can call it rent, but it's a one-time thing. So a lot of folks, that appeals to them as a sort of set it, forget it, and not feel like they're sort of stuck to the LoRa alliance for that side of things. On a Type 7 level, it's pretty. It's not a huge difference. If this proposal were to go through as sort of currently written that I saw, it would bring the price of a dev adder down to $12.50. So 8 of them for $100. So currently it's $100 per dev adder, have to buy 8 of them. Still have to buy 8 of them in these blocks of 8, but you could bring that down to
get it higher. Keep that wall up. Keep my moat there, Joey. Come on, you're fucking killing me.
There is an argument to be made that they're not expensive enough. Like we go and talk to roaming partners, folks that have their own net IDs, and they kind of look at you funny when you tell them it costs $100 to get an OUI, and it's almost like the price is too low for some of that stuff. But on the developer side, on the ecosystem side, we really want to support those folks too. So it's kind of trying to find a way to strike that balance. So currently keep the OUI the same. That kind of makes sense, $100, but make the dev adder a little cheaper.
Okay.
We'll see if that one sees the light of day. I got to, give some pointers on a draft, but that's about it so far.
Cool. Rob, what did you get? You didn't get a Type 7. I always forget which way it goes. Is like the lower numbers are more
the smallest, and Type 1's the biggest.
Got it.
So have we thought about making it so you can just buy one dev address? I know,
I've had some discussions with the HBR team on that.
Yeah, you can get a ton of devices on one address.
The challenge there basically becomes like, if you want to let people sort of sequentially roam their devices within their dev adder range, you don't want to issue single dev adders because it breaks the sort of continuity of setting those ranges. And then the subsequent ranges that you go and assign are now offset by 1 or 4 or 5 or whatever. So it's just a much cleaner allocation to issue them out in chunks of 8.
Hey, whilst we're on the conversation of net IDs and dev addresses, and another question I've always wondered is, why do we so like we have, I think it's 32 net IDs of type 7, which are all joint, like they're all next to each other, right? So we have an OUI, but an OUI is limited to the size of the type 7. Is there a way that we could make it so OUIs can straddle multiple type 7s, providing they're next to each other? Because it's not big enough to be a type 6, but it's kind of like we're using one type 7 right now. Ideally, we could use all 32 and point them to the same LNS. If we have multiple OUIs, we're going to have multiple LNS on multiple different net IDs. It kind of gets a bit ugly. Is there a way that we can kind of have contiguous net IDs kind of be able to overload their dev ranges?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a clear answer for that. The type 7s are kind of funny in that way, where they aren't very distinctly like bound to a specific set of net ID or dev adders. You kind of have two. It's weird. That is theoretically possible. I'd have to kind of double check things with the team.
I'm making you guys think in public. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a deep detail on the sort of configuration server side of things, but I can't see why it wouldn't be. Really, the OUI it's a note card in an index file, and it tells the HPR what to do. And why not add an extra OUI on there, or extra net ID on there?
Dig it. Let's not get
maybe
too
I'll
far
get
in the
yelled
weeds.
at for that. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to note right here is that I think this is super cool. Is we got both Rob and Joey on here. I know in the past, in general, TrackPack and Helium Foundation have been kind of super good buddies and also super butting heads. I really appreciate that both of you guys are on here and just being fucking polite with each other. I don't know that you guys have ever had any kind of personal beef between you, but it's just super cool to see, for me, how this whole thing plays out and how we've got a decent community of folks who are looking to solve problems. It's just rad. I appreciate it.
Rob and I had a great conversation last week after the call. We jumped on for 20 minutes and hammered out some stuff. So yeah, we're all trying to make cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting with the foundation. I think fundamentally most people we get on reasonably well, to Joey, Waveform, and a few others, right? But fundamentally, where we have criticisms of the foundation, it's normally about the foundation's policies or how they operate, not normally about an individual. Yeah.
No, it's also a tough thing because there's a lot of different pieces to juggle for the Helium Foundation, and there's some structural pieces, as far as I understand it, where it's they're at a disadvantage just because we didn't set it up right in the first place. As far as making sure that it had enough money to continually do whatever the fuck it wanted to do, and during this recent crypto winter, which we may or may not be coming out of, it was a pretty tight squeeze for them, and so they had to make these decisions that are shit. We don't want to do that, but this is what we're doing, and we're going to stay alive and get to what is hopefully where we are right now, which is this point where it's, people are going batshit crazy with their renewed interest in DePIN. I mean, I'm seeing on some of the servers that I'm a part of, or most of the servers that I'm a part of that are DePIN stuff. I don't know if you guys are seeing this as well, but seeing folks come in and saying hey, this seems super cool. Do I need a wallet for this? It's yeah, as a matter of fact, you do. So it's just neat, and thinking about what's going to happen, that we've all, the three of us on this call have seen before, and probably most of the folks watching right now, although I'm sure we got a couple new folks coming in. We think we've seen this before. It's all right, there's this run up where people get more and more excited. And I think where we are right now is people are probably a little bit too excited, but it's just going to build, right? It's just going to get more and more crazy. And I'll give you an example. over the summer for DePIN State, which is the YouTube channel that Max and I run for 𝐒𝐩𝐸𝐻 and Associates, our DePIN consultancy. We had trouble booking people for DePIN State. We had like a couple places where it's like, oh, we just got one a week and that was it. And we were pinging people all the time, like, hey, what's your news? What's going on? Tell us about building in the down market, all that stuff. And they'd be like, oh, we'll get back to you later. And it was, I think, for a normal person, it would have been super frustrating. For us, it was just like, yeah, it's kind of the crypto winter. I woke up this morning, December 20th, and we're now like 5 or 6 episodes in the can, and people just booked 2 more. So it's like, this shit is just going to change so fast, and people are going to be so interested in it. You really have to prepare your kind of business in your life, whatever that is, whether it's TrackPack, Rob, or anything else you're doing, or Joey at the foundation, or me at Gristleking or 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐻. Like, shit's about to get crazy. Stand by.
Yeah. And I think we're in this state of deja vu for a lot of this stuff too. And it's kind of exciting there's a couple of things that are really exciting for this renewed experience of all of this.
Yeah.
One is the community knows a little bit more about what DePIN is and how these networks function. And there's this educational layer that was such an uphill battle, 2 years ago, where it's like, as more people come on, the reward supply is fixed. Your rewards would go down as more network participants, like all that stuff. That seems to be part of the narrative now. Like people get that. And so there's a little bit more of like an eyes wide open going into this. That's refreshing to see. And by the same measure, like we can learn from those comms. We can learn from the, experiences of like remembering that not everyone has been around this whole time. And you have to be a little bit like replay the tape for folks. So it's
Yeah, and Rob, you're coming in. It's super nice to have you in as a skeptic, and like, this crypto stuff is pretty much bullshit. I'm psyched that you're on the show, and just like, all right, what are you thinking as a crypto kind of, maybe not super skeptic, but certainly a skeptic?
Yeah, so we saw some interesting patterns during the bear market, right? Mm-hmm. One was, even in my city, the reduction in coverage was huge.
Yeah.
And that's driven some of the decisions in TrackPack about how we operate. That drove the net ID versus dev address decision. And we're looking at additional roaming partners for IoT. We're using like Netmore in the UK and various bits of Europe, Senet in the US, and then packetbroker.net, and also a few commercial networks like KPN and Orange. And that was one of the big drivers behind acquiring the net ID, so that we could work with those networks and really use Helium as filling in the gaps and using those networks as our main providers.
Yeah.
The good news is we have seen a reverse of that trend in the last couple of weeks. People seem to be switching miners back on, which is good. It's helping with the coverage story. The thing that like concerns me is how do we get them to keep it on through the next bear market? How do we incentivize them to be like, hey, you know what? You can earn the tokens. They may not be worth a great deal during this time, but there will be another bull run at some point. Like that's how stuff goes, right? It is really, really important to have consistent network coverage for IoT to grow the use case and to grow the network and to get people using it.
Yep.
Like people need a bit of reliability. They need the coverage to be there. So yeah, I think educating people about the use case and why that's important to the utility of the token is super important. And I think maybe something that's been missed a little bit so far is like, these aren't magic boxes that make money. They're here to do a job, and building that out is important. I don't think Helium's ever been shy about the fact that, it's not 2021 where that was going to happen, or 2022. I think Capcom did an AMA a while back where he was like, hey, we don't predict this thing's going to peak throughout 2028. So I think the realistic expectation was set. The cost of running these things is incredibly low. It makes me sad when you see these YouTube videos where people are like ripping out the concentrators and making it into Wingbits bot, or into a Clank bot where Clank has no real utility. I think Wingbits is cool. Collecting data, doing ground station stuff for satellites, whatever is cool. I think the message needs to be don't destroy a Helium miner to do that. Either get another Pi or run a firmware on your miner where you can make the best of both worlds, right? You can plug in an SDR and do your wing bits alongside you, right? And that, I think, like Nebra firmware has gone a little way towards doing that. I think Duck has some news about firmware stuff which may open some doors for people. So yeah, I think if we can do like multi-coin, I know there's always been a thing where the foundation and 1663 haven't necessarily agreed with myself about multi-mining, but I think the more that we can give to people as a reason to keep their hotspots on is massively important for the likes of TrackPack and other sensor deployments.
Yeah. Love it. Doc, what's up, dude? I don't think we've had you on. I don't think anyone knows who the fuck you are. Some dude somewhere on the other side of the pond.
Yeah, I've never been on here, no. But yeah, I wanted to come on and show off a little bit of what Rob was talking about with firmware stuff.
Yeah.
Because I work for, I own Hexaspot, and I work for another company that had a issue where they were kind of reliant on hotspot manufacturers, and not the good ones, in the sense that they were not getting updates. Stuff just kept breaking, and it was just annoying to manage a large fleet of devices like that.
Yep.
So we kind of hit up Rob and Neil, because they already had this idea of pretty much a gateway manager. And basically we built out what we wanted. That was a gateway manager where we had remote access over SSH and full config controls on like a platform, an app, just on your web browser.
Okay.
And we're now building this out and productizing it into what we will call Edge Pilot.
What's the website, or is there a website yet?
Yeah, sure. 𝐒𝐩𝐵�pilot.io.
𝐒𝐩�pilot.io. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's
everyone's going there. Hang on a second. All right, I think I've got one for Relay. Let me write down 𝐒𝐻pilot.io so people can find that shit. Let's see. It's like 𝐻Pilot.io. Cool. There you go. Yeah, go find that. And so, why would I go check this thing out? Like, who's your customer? Who's watching this? Who's like, oh, psyched on this thing?
Well, basically anyone. It doesn't even have to be Helium specific, because what we basically came to the conclusion with when we were building this management system is that we basically rebuilt Balena, but in our eyes better and cheaper. So it's also for those types of customers. Or one example is what we can talk about, but a maker who can't afford his time to like update his fleet of devices anymore. Yep. So they're coming to us with that kind of stuff. But it's also just for the average hotspot owner who wants more control over their stuff, because you get full SSH access, so you can install whatever you want on it. We'll obviously make a nice UI for that stuff, so you can just flip a switch and you can run stuff that way. So,
and then if you get full SSH access, does that mean it's going to make it easier for gamers? Because that's my first thought of being terrified.
I mean, if gamers don't already have SSH access, they will get it anyway.
So yeah. Okay. Joey, what are you seeing, dude? I see you checking this thing out.
I actually got a little sneak peek of this. I think the landing page is up. This fits like a really important niche that we've been seeing as we talk to folks through Foundation of like commercial deployers, folks with existing networks of gateways. They want to use cheaper hardware. They see the price of gateways coming down. But the thing that's really lacking there is this administration, like pro level control. And so like, is my gateway, when I send a payload off of a device, I don't really know unless I've got like an SDR up and like I can see the waveforms coming through, like what actually is going on. One of the easiest things to do is like look at those logs of the concentrator and say like, boom, there was my payload come across. It's like negative 54 RSSI or whatever. I know that was me. And so being able to do that at scale across an entire network of gateways, being able to manage firmware releases so that you don't nuke your entire fleet with a bad release, things like that become really important for commercial operators. So I think this platform really hits the head on the nail for what a lot of folks are looking for for these bigger deployments of gateways that are especially tied to deployments of sensors.
Got it. And this is just for LoRa stuff. This isn't for, my Bobber 500 that's down. It's not going to help me with that. Come on, guys.
Maybe next time. It's cool to see some of the stuff getting built though. Like there's other attempts at it that I've seen, but I think this sort of open version of it that's cross-platform, cross-manufacturer, it starts to get into territory that unlocks a lot of folks.
Dig it. Duck, do you have a screen share? If you do, I can probably try and figure it out. That you want to show?
What do you want me to share?
I
can show our internal tool. That's fine.
Let me see if I can figure out how to get it to work. And I've got it. This is so funny. Is my fucking glasses broke the other day? So when I put them on, they're just like all cockeyed, and I'm looking through things. I got to go down to the glasses store and get them to fix my fucking frame because I lost all these tiny screws I had. In any event, so it may take me an extra second to see if I can figure out this screen share shit. Nope, that's not it. Is there a screen share that you have?
What do you want me to share?
I don't see that I can. You guys are just looking at my desktop. Hopefully, there's no fucking pictures.
I do see a share screen button.
Yeah, try that. See what happens.
All right. Let's see if I can
do that.
Let me.
What's up, Joey? Hang on, Joey. I'll get you. Let me get everybody squared away here. My fucking cockeyed glasses. All right, there's Rob. Cool. And then this thing should be not the primary display. I don't see a fucking place to share it. Are you seeing something on your side? I just haven't used the screen share enough to be.
Yeah, I'm currently sharing.
Oh yeah. There it is. Guest screen. How the fuck am I fucking this up? Give me a second here, fellas. Talk about something nice while I try and unfuck this whole thing.
Yeah, we can talk a bit more about Duck and HexaSpot's creation. So basically, it's kind of interesting. It's a wrapper around Docker with a little agent, essentially, that runs stuff. But yeah, you get full SSH access. To go back to the question about does that mean more gaming? I don't think so. Most of the gamers already have worked out how to get SSH access, and they're running custom firmware and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Okay.
Personally, I think the security through having these devices locked down is lost a long time ago. There's so many people hacking around and screwing around with them these days that I don't see any value in trying to obfuscate access anymore, to be honest.
Okay. Dude, how am I not fucking getting this thing? What a pain in the ass. Because I can see this thing coming through, Duck. Like I can see this mini version of your screen on the top of my screen. But I don't use this thing enough to be fucking squared away. Let me see if I try one more thing. I'll just keep banging on at this thing.
Sure. Yeah, so basically we want to make it easy in the sense that you just download a firmware image, a base image, and then you either load a config file on it and it works, or just download the base image and it works, connected to your account. Because we internally use this, as I said, it was developed as an internal tool.
Yep.
And for the guy, our deployers, pretty much, who are not that tech savvy, that just want to be able to flash it and then get it out in the field and use it that way. So I see the screen is up.
Yeah, I got it. Fucking A, technology.
So I can show off our internal tool a little bit. A disclaimer: it is like super. It works. It's beta, so there might be some weird bugs and stuff, and it's not that pretty. But then you can get the idea. For example, it says offline, but these are online. Trust me.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are basically some of our gateways we're currently managing. I don't care about the WAN IPs. It's all public and on 4G cards. So
yeah.
So basically, what we normally do is we have a base image. We load that onto the gateway. Then we add a gateway here. And then here you can select your make. This will probably be kind of the same when this goes live for the public.
Yeah.
Let me pause you for a sec. You want to do like a command plus a couple times just for YouTube potato mode?
Nice.
With that?
I just wanted to read the Cox drop one. That's all. That's Rob's favorite, I'm sure.
Oh, it's yeah.
That's
right.
some internal shit here, folks.
Yeah. So then you've added your gateway, and how it works now is then you go to the gateway and you generate a config file. This will download the config file, which you then upload to the gateway when it's flashed. You get a little when you go to the local IP, you get a little screen to upload the config, and then it will just show up here like the other ones are doing. And then once it showed up, you get updates every so often, every couple minutes. That's how it currently works. And then you can see what containers are running. So currently, Helium Miner, a multiplexer, because we're also forwarding to our own LNS and the general packet forwarder. So you can see all those statuses about your containers and stuff like that, and how long it's been online.
Oh, cool. Super nerdy stuff. It's super cool.
Yeah, super nerdy, but super like necessary.
Yeah.
Because you want to know if your stuff works. And it's very hard to do that remotely currently.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I can show off here is the way these settings currently work. Disclaimer, this is all templating language. It will be abstracted away for UI, so you can just flip a switch. But basically what you can see here is, for example, the multiplexer container. Let me...
𝐒𝐩𝐬𝐨𝐬𝐸. Oh, you fucking traitors.
Yeah. So
yeah,
for example, for example, this is like the config that's loaded onto, or what the gateways of our make SenseCap are running.
Yeah.
So if we, for example, want to, let's see if this, see bugs.
Super
if we
cool.
want to,
go ahead.
Yeah, like if we don't want 𝐒𝐻𝐬𝐸𝐸𝐻, we just remove it and then save it, and then in a couple of minutes, all the gateways will check if something has changed about this config, and then it will change its entire config on each gateway.
Badass.
Automatically.
Oh, well, let's put it back on there. I don't want to delete your 𝐒𝐻𝐬𝐸𝐸 stuff. So, I think this is a super cool thing. Is we think of this as like this, state of the network's DePIN podcast, but this is really the core of what's going on in DePIN. Is there's something happening in the real world with kind of real things in real space, and so. While I think a lot of the podcasts we're going to see pop up are going to be about like, oh, mine this coin and make $1 billion. I'm so fucking pumped to have you guys on. We get to talk all the time in some private channels on the GK server, and I'm sure you guys talk in other channels as well. But kind of sharing the stuff that's going on the backside of DePIN that is actually real and is making like the world a better place. So fuck yeah, guys. That's right.
Right. Well, that was pretty much it for me.
Okay. I could switch back to the regular thing now. We'll see if this thing works. Badass, dude. Super cool. Now, how does that work for, let's say I've got a remote hotspot that's on a cell plan. It's on like an 𝐒𝐻𝐬𝐸𝐸 wireless plan. How does that work for that? Like that's always been a pain in the ass for me to manage that. Kind of walk me through at least how to think of it.
So the nice thing about this is normally if you want to go SSH into your hotspot, you'd connect to your hotspot over VPN. But in this case, the hotspot connects to a VPN server to which you connect through the platform. Oh, cool. So you're not connecting to the hotspot directly, but you're connecting to the same server the hotspot is connected to. Is that right, Rob?
It's close, yeah.
Yeah, every hotspot runs VPN, and then from either the management host or if you want to join the VPN as well, and then you can sit on the same VLAN as the hotspots and SSH in or do whatever you need to do.
Okay, and then does it use more or less bandwidth than I'm currently using? Is this something where I'm going to see my bandwidth charges go up or down, or doesn't really make a change?
Yeah, they go up.
It'll be up, okay.
But
yeah, it will be up a little.
It depends on the check-in. This was a big thing for Duck and the guys at Connect IoT. They had like a 2 gig per hotspot data plan, and we realized that with like a 1 minute check-in, we'd use more than 2 gigs. So we now do like a check-in every 10 minutes. So it means that when you do actions to the hotspot, it's a little bit slower. because it waits for that next check-in window to occur, but
Yep.
that's fine, right? It's kind of balancing the check-in interval with bandwidth consumption.
Badass. Joey, what are you thinking, dude? This looks pretty cool. I could have used this 2 years ago, although I'd like to see less data. That's me. I'm cheap
the data stuff's always hard.
Yeah.
You want all those heartbeats, but you don't want it. You don't want to pay for them.
Yeah. I want the cake. I don't want the fat.
Yeah.
I end up eating the cake an awful lot, though.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that you guys pushed a landing page and you're starting to get it out there so quickly. I did not expect to see that like 2 days after I first heard about it. So,
cool.
Yeah, cool to see that stuff pushing through.
And can people sign up to be ready for that, guys, on that page?
Yeah, so on the landing page, there's a button to sign up for an email list, or you can join our Discord, which also works.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Badass, fellas. Let's see, what else have I got for today? I think we skipped past a ton of stuff because we got deep into the weeds on nerdy shit. All right, we hit
more nerdy shit. If you want more nerdy shit,
go for it.
I've been playing with Frodo bots recently. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. I think it's an interesting. I don't know whether it's DePIN. It's not really kind of decentralized networky kind of stuff, but it's infrastructure in some aspects, right? I don't know what their use case is going to be. It's basically today is more of a novelty where you can remotely drive robots on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, hang on. Let's briefly describe it because I met these guys at the last DePIN thing up in San Fran. I think Joey was out of town for that one, but Abai was there. So this Frodobots thing is they've got a couple thousand these little robots that they're maybe that big, maybe a little bigger, and they're just deployed all over the world. And what you can do is you log in and you can control the robot. I think there's some pretty decent restrictions on it, like you can't run it in front of a bus, you can't make it eat a small child. But you can then like have races with your buddies so that, Rob and I could be racing two robots in Malaysia from my place in San Diego and his place somewhere in the small island that formerly controlled America. And it's like, I think it's his novelty thing right now where it is like a fun thing. When I talked to that guy who runs it, I think it was, I forget his name, Michael maybe. They had just had these 2 or 3 TikTok videos go viral. And he's like, dude, I don't have time to talk. Like we're getting so swamped with requests for this, but that was 3 months ago. So I'm not sure where they are now.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I did a test drive.
Oh, you did one? Good for you.
I did one. It was very good. The latency is pretty impressive considering it's over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far they are in the crypto space right now. They have time credits which you buy to obviously have time on the robot, and then you earn these other credits for the missions that you complete. They give you missions, which is kind of their way of stopping you from kind of just doing crazy stuff and getting lost. They have markers, and you earn points for going through the markers and stuff. So they kind of try to simplify it a bit. But it's interesting when we talk about use cases. They were kind of going down the kind of remote delivery route where AI isn't good enough to work out what to do, so they could get people to.
Oh my God! Like your remote Uber driver.
Exactly,
that's so cool.
In a low cost center, like the Philippines or India or something, they could be doing deliveries in the US or Europe remotely and kind of having the intelligence of a human completing it, right? So that's one use case, and I've been chatting to them about another use case that I've kind of dreamt up, which is we have a lot of kind of accessibility stuff in the UK with trying to enable either schools or people who maybe have a disability to visit locations and experience things. So for example, National Trust properties are kind of like stately homes and stuff in the UK which are owned by a charity, and they're open to the public to see, but obviously not everybody can get there. So I was thinking hey, can we hook up those guys with a Frodo bot, maybe have a different model commercially on that bot so that people can either join it for free or pay a ticket price to go look around one of these locations. But yeah, they're kind of stuck on this mindset at the moment of trying to get that initial $99 through the door for that driving license, which I don't know how well that's going to work for the things that I have in mind. So we'll see what happens. I'm tempted to buy a Frodo bot, but we'll see.
Goddamn, Rob, for as foul-mouthed and combative as you are on the internet, you turn out to be an actual, like, really nice guy who gives a shit about people who have maybe like a worse circumstance than you. Fucking A, dude. That's rad. That's, I mean, I've gotten that before, but it's nice to see that we get to share that, like how rad you are.
Yeah, so we'll watch this space and have a spare $500, which may be soon, right? Because HNT is kind of doing well.
Is that what they are? 500?
Yeah, they're 500. Yeah.
Ah, oh, dude, maybe I'll buy a Frodo bot with the IoT I just sold. I gotta tell Lee this because we just bought 2 of the Wi-Fi things, the Helium mobile Wi-Fi, and then there's a couple other projects that are coming down the pipe. That's like, oh, maybe I'll do those, but maybe a Frodo bot would be nicer. We need that in San Diego, zipping around Normal Heights and having that thing do deliveries for us for paleo treats would be rad.
Yeah, definitely, it'd be pretty cool.
So, Joey, have you talked to those guys? Are they doing anything on Helium? Not yet.
Sorry, I got sucked into messages. You lost me.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Frotobot stuff. Did you see the little Frotobot things? Yep, zipping all over the place. Are they doing or probably not doing anything with Helium? That'd be like a nice ancillary tracking piece, and it'd be super cool if you could like slap a mapper on those guys. So as they drive around, they're like, yeah, the signal's pretty good here, or it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody knows them, I will show them how to do it.
Okay.
But happy to take that intro. But no, I have not seen that. This is like a whole new project to me.
Yeah. Welcome
I
to DePIN,
missed that DePIN event and like,
dude, that was crazy. I talked to this guy. I think it was Bicycle was the name of it, and he's local in what I think of as San Francisco. I know you guys split it up into various cities and areas, but like I'm American with my geography. It's like that entire place is San Francisco. But he had this thing where it's all like local crypto stuff. So he would come to my little neighborhood in Normal Heights. He'd go to every store and say, hey, if you accept this payment, then we can we'll make everything in my little neighborhood 10% more. And then on some of the more expensive items that are better for the planet, we'll knock the price down on those and we'll take the 10% from the stuff that's worse for the planet and make it so that it's a little bit more incentivized for like my neighborhood to be good in recycling and not using garbage stuff. And I didn't think that was going to work long term just because people like their cheap Twix over their expensive paleo treats. And it's hard to get people to come off of that. But I think it's a really cool indicator that we're seeing people want to do good in the world and use DePIN for that stuff. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool that people can build these things too, and you can like order some food delivery, and you don't have to think about the crypto part of it. Like you wrap an app around it, you sell that service. Like that's pretty killer.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. Speaking of paleo treats and DePIN, you just set up a mobile gateway up there, didn't you?
So I had one up there. I had a Bobber 500. It's been up there forever. And every time I looked at it over the summer, it wasn't making anything. And I was like, I'll get to it. Who cares? Mobile's not worth anything anyway. And all of the connection stuff looked good. This is actually an issue, I think, with Bobber 500s in general, or maybe like CBRS stuff. And what wasn't happening, I didn't even know to look for this. And you can only see it as far as I know on the Moken site. But the heartbeat it wasn't sending a heartbeat. So even though it was connected, even though like everything else on the kind of, whether you looked at the Bobcat local thing or the Freedom Fi local thing or the Helium, the cloud thing, all of those looked good. But there was no heartbeat on it. So it didn't earn any mobile, which is a bummer for my greedy, rich side. And then I've been trying to troubleshoot it, and I don't think there's anything I can do. And then I found over the summer also someone had reached out to me and they're like, hey, I bought a bunch of mobile stuff. I'm never going to use it. Can I send it to you and you figure out something to do with it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I just put it in the back because I didn't have anything to do with it. And then the other day when I found that thing, I was like, oh shit, there's a radio here. Let me see if I can hook it up to the Bobber 500 gateway. That didn't work. So I brought it home and tried to hook it up to my Freedom Fi gateway. That didn't work. So it's like there's a lot of fuckery going on with the CBRS gateway stuff right now, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. I mean, they've always been a little bit harder to set it. Like, it's definitely not the like plug in the hotspot experience that we had before on the CBRS side.
Yeah, Rob, I may have to have you remote in and just walk me through how to unfuck my network. You've helped me with that before.
He's got some firmware for you. He'll flash on there.
I'll send you like the first 5 days of mobile or something. It's like if you can figure this out, because I got it on the Unify thing. I think you may still have access to my network, but I can't. Like the radio will plug in, but you can't see it. So you can see that on port, whatever, 14 on the Switch. It's there, it's getting power, but it doesn't see anything. So I don't know, there's some fuckery going on with the whole mobile piece, which is why I ordered the 2 Wi-Fi hotspots. It's like, this will be a lot easier. So
I got there's my Wi-Fi. It's hard to do this backwards.
You got it, Todd. Yeah. Nice.
That was super easy to set up. And the cool thing, I posted on this on Twitter this morning, but I haven't been down here in a couple of days, and there's data transfer happening on this thing. So I don't know if it's people driving by with like their Spotify going or whatever, like grabbing a coffee and checking a text message, but
yeah,
pretty cool to see some activity happening on that end.
Yeah.
Hey Joey, I've got a question for Helium Wi-Fi. Is that generally available everywhere?
As long as we're defining everywhere as freedom of the United States.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's a no.
Sorry.
And then my other question was, when somebody joins that hotspot and they use the internet, is that like encapsulated back to some like Helium exit node, or are they just literally sat on your network kind of doing whatever they want to do?
Yeah, I don't know the exact, so full disclosure, I don't work on the infrastructure side of the Wi-Fi or mobile, any of that stuff. So I probably know about as much as most folks in this room, but I believe there is some sort of pass through, so it doesn't look like it's coming straight from your IP when people are using the thing. But I don't have the infrastructure diagram in my head to sort of explain that piece out.
All right,
but
cool.
Cool.
I can attest to it being pretty seamless. That is the nice thing to see.
And when's it coming to Europe?
You guys made the mistake of trying to fucking keep us put your foot on our neck. We're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so. I mean, like to touch on that a little bit. Like I legitimately have no idea. And it's kind of a nice thing that I don't. And keeping a little bit of that separation for Helium Mobile, the Nova team, and Foundation. Like we don't want to know that information because it restricts our ability to make certain decisions and stuff. So they're on their own rollout cycle for that. I'm sure they'll give us a heads up when it's about to happen, so we can sort of help with comms and things like that. But yeah, they're building that out.
Yeah, we'll see if we get someone from Nova on here maybe next week.
Yeah,
and just line up a bunch of questions because there's a ton of questions about it. So
I think the Wi-Fi opens a lot of doors because for IoT we already have a great IoT network for low power stuff, but for higher bandwidth applications, having Wi-Fi available in various bits of the city, which aren't, which aren't within 100 meters of my house, would be great. Like LTE for that kind of stuff starts to get really expensive very quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because there's a bunch of other Wi-Fi projects that are not Helium that are doing that same thing. So I'm always curious. So far, the Nova team has been super smart and kind of prescient and looking forward in the future and prepared for stuff. So I'm not going to be surprised if they announce something that's like, oh yeah, this is worldwide and it's already ready and here's this beautiful hotspot. But I haven't seen that yet. So cool. Anything else you guys want to hit before we sign off here? I know we got a couple minutes left, but I scheduled a call at 10 o'clock like an asshole, so I'm going to jump sooner rather than later. Anything you guys going to hit before we go?
No. No. I'll call out the Helium community call is still on for next week.
Okay.
But we're going to treat it a little bit more as an informal thing, a little bit of an AMA. So It's kind of a come hang out. Most people are going to be in like sort of holiday state of mind.
Yeah.
Keep that on the radar.
Doc, Rob, anything before we go? Buy Edgefire, whatever the fuck it is, .io.
Yeah, sign up for the waitlist. Yeah, edgepilot.io.
Edgepoint.io.
No, I don't.
Cool.
Edgepilot.io.
Edgepilot. Yeah. I put it on the screen and fucking forgot already, like a goddamn goldfish.
Right.
Yeah, buy Duck stuff. I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. Yeah, buy the TrackPack stuff. I think one of the things I'd like to see TrackPack kind of survive and do super well. And I know it's been just up and down over the past year, and I'd really like to see you guys come out on top. So if you haven't checked out the tracking stuff they're doing at TrackPack, these trackpack.io, definitely check that out. So
yeah, and Track Cloud if you need LNS.
What is it? Oh, Track Cloud? Is that it?
Track Cloud as well if you need LNS.
Okay.
If you want, SLA.
How do you spell that?
𝐒𝐩𝐸RP, and then the word cloud.co.uk.
Oh, your fucking accent is killing me. Chirp Cloud and .io.
.co.uk. We're too cool for .io.
.co.uk. So I think Chirp Cloud like this.
Yeah, if you want LNS with an SLA that's like reasonable, I guess, then go check it out.
Okay, badass. So if you want my direct competitor, you motherfuckers, to Medio Scientific, go to fucking chirpcloud.co.uk. I'm sure they'll do an awesome job and crush it.
I think the products are super different. I think.
Dude, I don't know about you guys. I'm seeing like a ton of people sign up and buy more credits on Medio Scientific. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but people are psyched on it. And then I've got this one enormous fleet that's talking about coming on, and I think there's like a 2% chance of it happening. But you'll know it happened if you're watching the data credits, and all of a sudden I jump close to the top. When I talked to him, I was just laughing. I was like, this is fucking crazy that you guys are thinking about using us.
Well, we had the same thing a couple of weeks ago, and it turned out it was just all of the backscatter from the foundation console being switched off, and all of the scammers were trying to sign up with us instead. And we saw them breaching duty cycle and all sorts of crazy stuff, and we were like, okay, this is really sus, so we cut them off. And we asked them to do like a extended verification, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. So very, very interesting. I'd be interested to see if those DC result in chargeback.
I better pay attention to that shit, because I don't know. I feel like Paul does a really good job of that, and if there's a problem, he'll tell me about it. If not, he just sends me a bill. So it's like, that's how I want it to be.
Yeah, Paul's cool.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah, he's been quick so far.
Yeah. All right, killers. I will see you guys on the internets and next week. Thanks for coming on. Super cool to go deep into the weeds with my nerd buddies. All right.
Did you say deep into the weeds?
Deep into the weeds. I like it, Joey.
Oh.
See you guys later.